kind of, I mean, first of all, when we first started to come up with this idea to do this, we made Rich Machin from Soul Savers and myself, we made lists of songs that and artists, bands that have over the years influenced us or been with us or whatever, and we listened to. So the list was really long, but gradually for me the songs started to choose themselves, and yeah, and then about a sort of first week into recording the album, I realized that the songs had quite a narrative to them. They had some references and some atmospheric identification that I really identified with. And so, you know, by that time as well, I'd removed the original versions completely from my kind of mind and I'd found a place for myself. But it wasn't really till we began recording and that I realized that the songs were kind of telling a story, now loosely based on a story that I could identify with, but I think a lot of it has been made of that. But the truth is, when I'm performing now on stage and I'm singing the songs and I see people and I feel the response, the listening, there's a lot of identification to these songs. And you know, it's not just mine, it's like a life thing. If you've lived a life that has its ups and downs, as it does, then these songs will make sense to you. That often happens when you're working on anything, I guess, artistic or with other people, that you have this opportunity to sort of reveal a part of yourself. For me, it's in my voice, in a song, and the way I develop a character within a song. Well, the song, I've always loved the song, especially Elvis's, and actually Willie Nelson's version too, but I particularly like. The song is, you know, it's very revealing for the performer that I related to and listened to, Elvis, his voice, his style of performance, the way he held himself. And, you know, I also played into this idea of the imposter or imposter because, you know, Elvis, as we know, never wrote a song in his life, but he sang them, and we all believed his words, you know, and his sentiment. And so that's the part of the song for me that I have always identified with, this imposter syndrome and living vicariously through someone else's words. But also, you know, the song for me is, and it's why it's the last song on the album and the last song that we perform in the Imposter show, because it's kind of like, it's a song saying thank you and please forgive me. I should have done better. I'm here now. there's so many for me, like in the melody, in the words, and when we perform it on stage, TJ and Janet and Wendy, who sing with me, come behind me on the stage, and Sean is playing the piano part very delicately, and it's really, it's been quite a moment, you know. So, and that's the thing about the song as well, and these songs in particular, especially some of them on Imposter, you have a moment to capture something, and then it's gone. And you know, I really like that, because it feels like very powerful. It can be vulnerable and, you know, not work sometimes so well. You try, but other times it's a real privilege to be, you know, on a stage with other musicians that are reaching for that kind of, that feel. It's made certain things about being creative and making music, let's just say, more available, or more, you know, it's something, well, if you have a good idea, you can make it happen. If you don't have a good idea, technology doesn't really matter, because I always feel like if it's not a good idea in the first place, there's no amount of clever technology that's going to make it a good idea. For me, I can see right through that. But so I love that. I love the fact, for instance, when I work with Martin in Depeche, you know, like Martin is, you know, he's like this little kind of wizard in the studio with all the electronics and stuff, and analog equipment that he has a lot of, and he just gets lost in it. And I love watching him when he does that, because he really loves it. And I have to be patient, you know, sometimes for a long time before I get to do what I do, to participate in what Martin is really very, very clever at. And, you know, he writes great songs, and he's very creative with the technology. But, you know, I also like this other side, this side which I've explored over the last 20 years or so, sometimes outside of my band and sometimes in my band, Depeche, but an interaction with another person. It's kind of more dangerous and less predictable, and you have to really be able to perform. If you can't, then you will be lost in the, you know, because especially when you go into the studio with other musicians that are ready to, you know, they're ready to play their instrument. That's all they want to do. I like both. It's like people always ask me, why do you do this, Dave? I have to. Martin is always, you know, he and I share something that even after 40 years, I'm not sure what that is, but we both know that there is some kind of synergy or connection between us that is supposed to be. So that's why we can make music together, you know, or make something together. Whoever else is involved, it doesn't matter. There has to be Martin and myself. The rest of it is a lot of fun, but for me still, if you're going to make a record, especially after all these years, you know, it has to be something that is both challenging and also feels like we are taking risks, trying something, you know, in performance together, however that is. if you come to the show, we will perform Imposter with the same musicians that played in the studio 2 years ago, which I was very important to me that would happen. We will play the album as it sequences. And if we like that, then we'll maybe play some more songs afterwards. But first it will be Imposter, yeah.